In this video, I'm going to talk about everybody's favorite topic, capturing customer information in stores. Joking, of course, because client capture rate in a store is always the biggest pain for any retail directors or managers that I tend to talk to. So, I'm going to go through three quick and easy actions any brand can take to get 10 times better at this today. But let's quickly touch on why this is so important. So, customer data sits at the center of any retail brand and really drives all of the decision making. A store visit is the most reliable and cheapest way a brand can collect more data about their customers. It's coming directly from the source, and if done correctly, they should be more than happy to give more information along the way. Simply said, the more reliable data you have, the better. So let's talk about the best ways to immediately improve how much customer data you capture in your stores. My very first tip is to have a next action for the associate. To put in other words, have a standard process for associates to follow up with customers whose info they do capture. And this one is really tapping into the human side of the selling ceremony in the store. If you place yourself in the shoes of your sales associate in the store for a moment, imagine having to directly ask for a customer's personal information to robotically punch it into a system they have no further access to or idea what happens next with it. It sounds like a really tough ask when you put it that way, right? Instead, you want the associate to know exactly how both they and the customer benefit from this exchange. Things like, if you don't mind providing your email and phone number, I can let you know when we get new items into our store. Or, like, do you want to give us your birthday so we can send along a gift every year? Sort of wrapping that information question in the benefit that the customer gets from giving out that data. My second quick tip is to set a goal and monitor it. This one is so simple, but it still deserves to be said. You can't ask your team to pick up a new habit without setting a goal and tracking the progress towards it. And I'm actually going to jump into my Endear CRM here to show you an example of what I mean. All right, so I jumped into my customer audiences here, and holding people accountable is, as simple as tracking the number of customers that shop at the store but don't have their email captured or their phone number captured or don't have some other important piece of information we're asking the team to grab. So we could create an audience like this example where we are looking at, anybody who last ordered at this store. I'm in Soho for this example, and we don't have their email address or phone number on file. The other option might be, we don't have their favorite styles or their birthday. And these could all be different pieces of information that you're asking your team to capture when they work with the client directly at the store. So you want to have a next action for the associate, and then you want to set a goal and make sure you're monitoring and tracking that goal when it comes to information capture. The last tip is to make it easy and make it useful. What do I mean by that? Let's jump into a customer profile here as a good example. We'll go to Harriet. And again, I'm using Endear as an example here, but you want to set up your systems to work in the easiest way possible for your team. So, for example, here on my customer profile, if there are certain preferences that I want people to be capturing, I can pull that out and make that a really specific piece of the profile. Same with important dates as another example here. Don't make me search for it as an associate when I'm trying to update this info. Also, don't make me enter it into a system in real time while I'm working with the customer. I have found a lot of times it is easier for an associate to jot things down on paper, even really quick in the moment, which is totally fine. The most important thing is that it eventually gets into the system later. And why do we want it to get into the system? That comes the next part of this. We want to make it useful. And this sort of links back to our first tip where we want to tell the associate those follow up actions after getting the info. We want to also make sure the associate knows that this info can be really, really useful to them. As long as the info is captured here or in whatever CRM you're using, you can then pull different lists and examples of audiences for customers that take advantage of that info. And even associates themselves in Endear, for example, could pull up a list of all of their clients who have a birthday coming up. Or maybe if we just release some new styles, we might want to filter by our customer preferences. Basically, if I know that all of this data that I'm working to capture and get into the CRM system is useful for me down the line, I'm going to be way more incentivized to want to capture that data. So there you have it. With or without Endear, any sort of like impressive CRM system, you should be able to relatively manage pulling off all three of those tips. And I'd be willing to bet you will see an immediate improvement in your data capture rate. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you have any other tips or comments, please comment down below this video, wherever you're watching it. If you're not watching it on our YouTube page, you should check our YouTube page out. And if you are watching it on YouTube, subscribe. That way you'll be notified next time we release a video. Thanks so much for watching. See you next time.